What's up, guys? Today we're here in my kitchen and we're gonna be making, I Google searched up chocolate chip cookies and I clicked on the first recipe. It looked pretty cool, so we're just gonna be making that. So yeah, welcome back to our quarantine edition, cooking in my house, I guess. Yeah, also the first episode, so. We're gonna be going counterclockwise in terms of the ingredients that we have here, starting with the middle, of course. We have a cup of sugar and a cup of brown sugar. We're gonna take this cup of margarine, and we're gonna be taking this, and we're just gonna be scooping it right in there. Wanna get all that good margarine. You can also use butter. Most people use butter. I just don't happen to have any butter on hand, so this is a good substitution. Okay, so right about now, this should be pretty much complete. We can use a rubber spatula that I have over here to just make sure all of that is scraped into the middle, that there's none left. We can make sure nothing's on the bottom, and that looks pretty good. So we can start adding our next ingredient. I have 2 eggs. Now that that's done, we can just blend the egg right in. Okay, that looks good. We can also add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract right into there. So what we need to do next is something called a slurry, which is heated water with a bit of baking soda. So I have 2 teaspoons of water here in this Pyrex, which is going to be microwaved for about a minute. So we have our 2 teaspoons of water all nice and heated up. Gonna take a teaspoon of baking soda, and this goes right into it. I'm also gonna grab a spoon on here. I'm also gonna grab a spoon to mix that in. Just gonna immediately see it starts foaming. This is good. What you want it to do, you want to make sure it dissolves nice and evenly. So once it looks like a nice milky white kind of color, pour that right in there. And give that a stir. Next up, we are going to be putting in flour and salt. Now, what we're going to do to make sure that it doesn't all overflow is we're gonna only put in a little bit of flour at a time. Forgive me. Just gonna pat a bit of that in and stir this right in. You can already see it's starting to get a little bit of a doughy consistency around the edges. Bit more flour. We can also put that bit of salt in. That's half a teaspoon of salt. Starts to look like a lot of flour, but it should all combine pretty smoothly. A bit more solid. We can see it takes a little while to drip. Thinking we can add the rest of the flour. We can start to slowly combine, make sure that none of that flour puffs up too much, because we want all of this in the bowl. Now we've got some good old cookie dough. I'll bet it tastes delicious, and maybe I'll find out later. But you got 2 cups of chocolate chips, a mix of a little bit of ghirardelli, dark chocolate, plus mostly Nestle Toll House dark chocolate and semi-sweet chocolate. It's about 50-50 for semi-sweet and dark, which I think is an optimal mix for this kind of cookies. Now we have fully mixed and complete cookie chocolate chip cookie dough all nice and done. And thanks to the editors, now we have some pans fully lined with parchment paper. What do you know? That's cool. So before we go any further in scooping the cookies, we gotta preheat the oven. Preheat your ovens to 350. Right over here. Bang, 350. So now I have a tablespoon that we're gonna be using to scoop this. I have a mini rubber spatula that I find quite nice. I just do that. And just like that, we have a full sheet of parchment paper lined with 16 beautiful cookies that we're gonna put into the oven pronto. I cannot wait to taste these beauties. They're gonna be so good. So let's get these into the oven.